Let me turn briefly to another important thing that is really at stake here. Madam Speaker, democracy is rooted in the idea that the people govern, that is their right to determine their own political destiny. But with that right comes an obligation that we don't talk about or think about nearly enough. And that obligation is to be thoughtful, informed, critical thinkers about the issues of the day. And that's not who we are today. Today we have elevated, because of our political polarization, we have elevated confirmation bias to a secular religion. So even in this conversation about the origins of the coronavirus, what you believe is indicative of where you stand on the political spectrum. For reasons I don't understand, some of our colleagues and many Americans are running around with a theory that somehow buttresses their political legitimacy. Maybe you do that with UFOs. Maybe you want to believe that there's aliens at Roswell or whatever you want to believe. That's pretty harmless. But when we're talking about a pandemic or something as serious as a disease that could kill 1 million Americans, that's not okay. And we have to remember our obligation to be thoughtful, critical thinkers. We cannot let our political hopes override the obligations we have to be thinkers. And colleagues, I will tell you, the chairman and I have seen all of the classified information on this, and we don't know. We don't know the origins of the COVID pandemic. So whatever is ultimately declassified, I would hope that my colleagues and the American people would approach that information with the humility, the intellectual humility that we need to approach something as serious as a pandemic and how we behave as citizens in a democracy. We don't know. We need to think about whether we want confirmation bias, our tendency to select just those facts which support our pre-existing positions, interfere with our duty as critical thinkers in a democracy. At the end of the day, the American people will get the system of government that they deserve. And if we don't get back to being humble about what we know, to being critical thinkers, our democracy will be at risk. I want to close with a quote from a great Connecticut writer and humorist, Mark Twain. He said, "It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so." So I'm going to join my chairman in supporting this bill, and I hope it passes in overwhelming bipartisan fashion, and I hope we take that information and use it for constructive purposes in the service of saving lives and buttressing our democracy. Madam Speaker, with that, I reserve.